Hello everyone, I'm Freaky and welcome to the video. My friends, when it comes to Dragon Ball Z, you guys know I love the series. And to those of you who may or may not know, in the UK we had the Ocean dub and the Westwood dub. I did make a video about this, about the Ocean and Westwood dub. And if you guys want to go and check out what the Westwood and Ocean dub is, you can go find out for yourselves on YouTube. Anyways, when it comes to the Americans, I believe they had the Funimation dub, which we in the UK also had, but only for episode 54 all the way to 109. And I'm not gonna lie, the American version of Dragon Ball Z during those episodes were really good. And of course we have the Japanese dub. I watched the entirety of Dragon Ball Super, watching the Dragon Ball dub Super, I mean. So yeah, everybody knows about the Japanese dub, everybody knows about the Funimation dub, and when I finally got my orange bricks, I watched the entirety of Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball GT when I first got them. And all three series was all done by Funimation, which was the American version. Now, when it comes to the Funimation dub, there are two versions of Dragon Ball Z. In America, you have the Cartoon Network version, and you also have the Orange Brick version. So there are two versions of the series Dragon Ball Z. You watch it on Cartoon Network, or you watch it on Funimation DVD releases. And you know what? I prefer the Cartoon Network version myself when it comes to episodes from 54 all the way to 109, because we had the American version of the opening, we had the Cartoon Network version of The Last Times and Next Times, and we also had the English card telling us what episode it is and what the next episode is going to be. And of course we had the Cartoon Network credits too. So yeah, the Cartoon Network version and the Orange Bricks when it comes to America with Dragon Ball Z are completely different. But saying that, the majority of all the episodes from Cartoon Network and Funimation are basically the same, except for a few minor changes. The bricks had the Japanese version of Last Times and Next Times, but with different scenes and a Japanese title card. And of course you have the openings and the credits were completely different, which is the Japanese ones with Chala head Chala and we got power, that sort of stuff. So yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. Anyways, I have seen both the Funimation dub and the Ocean and Westwood dub of Dragon Ball Z. And also there's also the Blue Water version of Dragon Ball and GT. But we're not going to talk about those right now. I just want to concentrate on Dragon Ball Z. And in a way, you could say that this video is sort of a versus video in terms of which is the better dub between Funimation and the Ocean Westwood dub. Now, before any of the Funimation fans start bashing me for saying, oh, what are you talking about? The Funimation one is much better than the Ocean Westwood dub one. Now, before anybody says anything like that, just hear me out. I'm going to say this. Yes, I have seen both the Funimation and the Ocean Westwood dub. And you know what? They're both good in their own right. And yes, don't get me wrong. When it comes to the Funimation dub, there are more things in the Funimation dub that are a lot better than the Ocean Westwood dub. For example, Goku going Super Saiyan 3. I mean, my god, that was so freaking cool. And also Vegito's voice. His voice was much better in the Funimation dub. I mean, a lot better. And you know what? I even have a fondness for the American version of the Dragon Ball opening. You know, the dun 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 dun, you know, dun 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 dun. And you know what? I'll just come out and say it. They hit the ball out of the park when it comes to the music. You know, the themes, the scores, etc. When it comes to the Funimation dub. Goku going Super Saiyan 3, the God Junior Saga. The Funimation dub has a lot going for it. It is probably better. Well, it is better than the Ocean Westwood dub. But that's not to say that the Ocean dub is bad. Just to simplify things, I'll just call the Westwood and Ocean dub just the Ocean dub. Anyways, the Orange dub, in its own right, also has some great moments in it too. And I think it should be given that recognition of having something great in it. And yes, of course, don't get me wrong, there are things in the Ocean dub I know would be better off if it was the Funimation dub, like Vegito's voice, and Goku going Super Saiyan, and Super Saiyan 3, etc. Which, to be fair, we didn't have Goku go Super Saiyan 1 for the Ocean dub. Anyways, what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to be showing you guys my top 10 things that I liked about the Ocean dub. Now, I just want to make one thing perfectly clear, okay? When it comes to this list of the Ocean dub, this is going to be a top 10 list of things in the series. But the problem here is, I haven't watched the Ocean dub in years, and I'm only going to show you guys things in this series that I can remember from, well, memory, and things from the series that I've seen on YouTube, like the time when Vegeta was about to kill Nappa, and Nappa says, "You dirty rat!" to Vegeta. That was much better. Nappa knew he was about to die, and Nappa just called him a rat for killing him. Or when Cell doing his hissing thing while he was in the shadows. I thought that was creepy. Yes, there is some good stuff when it comes to the Ocean dub, but the problem is, I haven't watched it in years, and I don't want to watch the entire thing, because that would take way too much time. Yeah, pretty hypocritical, isn't it? I say how the Ocean dub is good, but I refuse to watch it because it would take me a long time to point out all the other good bits in the series, or should I say good parts within the series. Listen, the Ocean dub is fantastic in its own right, and if you guys have the time, I highly recommend you guys go and watch it. I mean, the thing is, you're basically watching the Funimation dub, but with the Ocean dub, if that makes sense, and with a lot of cut out. Yeah, this series was edited badly in the UK. I mean, heck, instead of saying, oh, I'm gonna kill you, the character says, I will send you to the next dimension. Which, to be fair, that was kind of funny if you ask me. But in all seriousness, even though I'm not gonna watch the entire series, and I'm only showing you guys the things that I remember, the things I saw on YouTube, those things are going to be on this list. And listen, I'm pretty sure there are people out there who will say, oh, but what about this part in the series? Oh, what about this part in the series? Oh, what about this part in the series? Oh, what about this voice actors in the series? These things should definitely be on this list and not these things. And you know what? You guys are probably right. But saying that, this video is to encourage people to do with one of few things. 1. Check out the Ocean dub. 2. Make videos about the Ocean dub. And 3. People start debating about the Ocean dub and talk about which is better, the Ocean dub or the Funimation dub. Like for example, oh, you know what? As an Ocean dubs fan, I agree. This part of the Funimation dub is better than the Ocean dub. Or oh, as a Funimation fan, I will say, yeah, I do like the music here. Or oh, I like this voice actor here. Or it could just be one big massive shouting contest and we start arguing over the most stupidest things. But that's the whole idea of this video. I want to get people interested in the Ocean dub. I want my fellow Dragon Ball Z fans to acknowledge the Ocean dub, and not just the Ocean dub, but the Blue Water dub as well. Because you know what, I wouldn't mind seeing one of my fellow Dragon Ball Z fan YouTubers talk about the Ocean dub, or make a verse video on which one is the best. That would be so freaking cool. I mean, I've been hearing Dragon Ball YouTubers talk about what's in the series and how they like it and why they like it, but talking about the Ocean dub is something that I've never heard any Dragon Ball YouTuber talk about. Well, I mean, yeah, there was DBZ Armor. He talks about its history, and he was the one who found it and remastered it. I mean, all those things are well and good. Its history, how we saw it on TV back in the UK years ago, but I wouldn't mind somebody talking about how it levels up to the Funimation dub, or even the Blue Water dub. So I figured, if I was to talk about the Ocean dub more, then my fellow Dragon Ball Z YouTubers would talk about the Ocean dub too. Like for example, oh, my top 10 things that the Ocean dub did better than the Funimation dub. Or, oh, who's better, voicing Vegeta, Brian Drummond from the Ocean dub, or Chris Sabat from the Funimation dub, you know, stuff like that. For me, those would be interesting for the Dragon Ball community to debate about and think about. I really want to give the Ocean dub more recognition in the Dragon Ball community, and that's why I made this list. This is the top 10 moments from the Ocean dub that I could remember. Remember, there are other great moments in the series, so please go and check it out. Anyways, with all said and done, let's resume with the list. Number 10. Oh, come on, you guys, you knew I had to put this in there. One of the greatest memes ever. I mean, come on, this was one of Brian Drummond's greatest moments in this series. I mean, the way Vegeta says that, it's over 9,000! Nappa going, what, 9,000? I won't go into the detail as to why it's a meme, but I just love how powerful Vegeta said it. But when it comes to Chris Sabat, it almost felt like an annoyance to him. But with Brian Drummond, you could tell that he put so much power into that scream. I mean, it's probably one of the most recognisable parts within the Ocean dub. I just love how powerful it was. And so, let's move on to the next one. Number 9. Okay, now I've put 2 on this one, and it's called the drum beat. Both the fast version and the slow version. And when it comes to these two, the fast version was always in the time of fast-paced action, and you always felt you was getting into it as well. I mean, when it comes to Bruce Wackel's scores, they were really good, but the drum beat should definitely be seen as one of the great pieces of music when it comes to Dragon Ball Z. Well, you know the American version of Dragon Ball Z where it goes da 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 da. Well, the drum beat has that sort of feel to it too. Like, you wish you could go and kick somebody's ass. That's what it feels like. And when it comes to the slow drum beat, this was the music where at the slow reveal of something like Cell, this music felt creepy, like the tension was going up, like you knew something was coming, like something dangerous. And that's what the slow drum beat was like. It had the feel of, oh, something terrible is coming this way. Both the fast and the slow were really, really good. The drum beat is possibly one of the best scores from the Ocean's dub. And also, speaking of which, let's move on to the next one. Number 8. The army. Now, when it comes to the army, for me, it always felt like it was going to build up to something, which it did. Because when the score gets to the halfway point, it's almost like it's saying, okay, I'm going to show you something awesome. Because that's exactly what this score is like. Like, it's showing you something cool, and it works its way up to something awesome. Because in my opinion, the second half is just absolutely fan-freaking-tastic. And you know, I'm not going to lie, the way they play the drums and the guitar, and I'm not really sure how they do it, maybe it was a keytar or something. But anyways, yes, the second half of the army was definitely my favourite. The first half was like, okay, I'm going to show you something cool, but now I'm going to show you something awesome. Again, this is one of the best scores from the Ocean's dub. And so, let's move on to the next one. Number 7.
Stay tuned for scenes from the next episode of Dragon Ball Z.
Vegeta's Wrath. For me, I think Brian Drummond did fantastic here as well. Like, you feel the anger and hatred in Vegeta's voice when he's making his way back to the Earthlings. You just couldn't help but feel his absolute hatred and anger. I love this part, I really, really do. And so, let's move on to the next one. Number 6.
Fueled by rage and ready to sacrifice it all, Trunks has challenged the Sinister Cell to one final momentous bout. And if his energy continues to build, Trunks will exceed the fighting powers of all the other heroes combined. I guess his year of training was worth it. But Cell isn't about to just hand Trunks the victory. It's going to be an all-out war as the two fighters from the future throw down to decide the fate of planet Earth. Make sure you tune in to the next explosive episode of Dragon Ball Z.
Trunks powering up against Cell, and oh my god, this part was just so freaking cool. The narrator saying these two are from the future, and Trunks is now powering up, and he goes on saying, oh, it could be more powerful than all the Z warriors combined. Stay tuned for the next Dragon Ball Z. For me, this was a great cliffhanger. It just gets you more excited to wanting to watch the next episode. And that freaking score, I mean, oh my god, that was just so good. And also, please make sure that you guys realize there are other cooler parts in the series, not just this one. Okay, now that's it. Let's move on to the next one. Number 5.
You know some of my moves, but I know every one of yours, Vegeta. Oh yes, Dr. Jarrow studied you very thoroughly.
Android 19's voice. Sorry, but it's much better than the Funimation one. This voice of 19 had more character to it. Like, it suited Android 19. In fact, it was downright perfect. The Funimation one wasn't that good for Android 19. So yeah, Android 19's voice is much better. And so, let's move on to the next one. Number 4.
I was observing your battle with Kakarot. So, I've seen your energy-absorbing technique. Oh well, if I'm unable to blast you away, I'll just have to pound you into a pulp, that's all.
Brian Drummond playing Vegeta, or voicing Vegeta. I'm sorry, but Brian Drummond does a fantastic job as Vegeta. He's better than Chris Sabat. Now listen, don't get me wrong, Chris Sabat does a good job as Vegeta, but when it comes to Brian Drummond, I just love how sinister Vegeta sounds. Like, he sounds like the evil Prince of Saiyan that we all know and love. But saying that, in my opinion, I think an older Vegeta with Chris Sabat's voice does suit him. Like maybe after the Cell Saga, and we're going into the Buu Saga, and up into the Super Series, I think Chris Sabat's voice suits Vegeta. Because when it came to Brian, Vegeta was like an immature, evil guy, but as the series progresses, he becomes much more mature. So I think a mature Vegeta with Chris is perfect. At the beginning of the series, Vegeta was evil, but Vegeta became a good guy in the end, and that transaction from Brian to Chris is perfect in my opinion, and I think many people would agree with this. So yeah, I do like Brian Drummond at the beginning of Z, but when it comes to the Buu Saga, I think he should have transitioned from Brian to Chris. So yeah, there you go. And with that said, let's move on to the next one. Number 3.
I was observing your battle with Kakarot. So, I've seen your energy-absorbing technique. Oh well, if I'm unable to blast you away, I'll just have to pound you into a pulp, that's all.
You know some of my moves, but I know every one of yours, Vegeta. Oh yes, Dr. Jarrow studied you very thoroughly.
Oh, is that a fact? Then why were you so surprised when Kakarot changed into a Super Saiyan? I'll tell you why. Because your database doesn't cover the battles we had in space. Your careless creator excluded the most important chapter that you need in your memory banks.
Oh?
Quite right, my friend. Now tell me, does a machine like you ever experience fear?
You've got to be kidding! I don't believe it!
Not him as well.
Whoa! You know who's joined the Super Saiyan Club! He is on our side, isn't he?
Oh my days, I absolutely love this part. this whole scene is just so freaking good. The music of the army, the talk between Android 19 and Vegeta, and one of Vegeta's famous sayings, "So tell me, does a machine like yourself experience fear?" And Vegeta going Super Saiyan 1, or powering up to go Super Saiyan 1, it was just so freaking perfect. Not only that, it had two characters that voices fit perfectly with each other. And I love the way where he says Dr. Gyro, and I'm not gonna lie, I actually do like it when it says Dr. Gyro instead of Dr. Giro. This scene was much better with the Ocean score, the voice actors. This part was one of the best parts of the Ocean Westward dub. When I think of Android 19, I think of that voice, and when I think of Vegeta going Super Saiyan 1 the first time, I think of this Ocean dub. It's just all around freaking perfect. And so, let's move on to the next one. Number 2.
Normal.
He's a little whip now. Ah, dear me, I'm afraid we're doomed.
Wait a minute, you said he was changing back to normal. I don't understand. I haven't even seen this form yet. How can it be normal? Do you know something that I don't? Well, do you?
Yes, sir.
He shrunk, and you were so worried.
Ha! You weren't worried, huh? You had white knuckles and you know it.
A dark cloud has appeared in the sky. But if Goku and Vegeta aren't worried, then why is Kibito Kai? What does he know about this little boo that they don't? Stay tuned for scenes from the next episode of Dragon Ball Z.
For me, this was the perfect introduction to Kid Buu. This part was much better than it was in the Funimation dub. Now remember, Kid Buu was the final boss of Dragon Ball Z, and this was his first introduction. And the slow drum beat as we're introduced to him, it made Kid Buu look much more menacing. I mean, when it comes to Goku and Vegeta, there was like, what the heck's going on? He's all small now, and they look like that they've got nothing to worry about now. But when it comes to Kibito Kai, he was like, oh no, we're all doomed! And he had this scared look on his face. Now, granted, in the past, Shin has been at Lao's Supreme Kai in the past, like he was wrong about Bobby's men, and Vegeta and Goku and Gohan looked like they had nothing to worry about. I mean, even Goku threatened Shin because he didn't believe that Majin Buu would be a threat. And come on, we all know Shin is a bit of a screw up. I mean, the first time, we the audience thought everything that Shin said about Bobbidini's men and Majin Buu, I mean, come on, you guys have to admit that we was also worried too. But after when Goku, Vegeta and Gohan mopped the floor with Bobbidini's men, and we saw how useless Shin was, Goku and Vegeta and Gohan didn't take him seriously, the audience didn't take him seriously, that was until Fat Buu finally came along. And when it comes to this part, when we saw Vegeta and Goku smile, and Vegeta says, haha, he's a little whip now, and they're smiling like they've got nothing to worry about. But when we saw Kibito Kai with a scared look on his face, we were all probably thinking, oh come on, you're just exaggerating again. But no, Kid Buu was an actual threat. So if you ask me, I think this part also faked us out the first time we saw it. I mean, maybe half of people thought, oh, maybe there's something threatening about this Buu, and maybe some people were saying, oh, the Supreme Kai is acting scared again, like he's exaggerating again. I mean, if Vegeta and Goku isn't scared, then we shouldn't be scared. So yeah, this was a good fake out. And the way he just stands on that hill mountain thing as the episode's about to end, geez Lou freaking Louise, this was good. And again, the drum beat and the first time we see Kid Buu, it was just so freaking perfect. I freaking love this part. And so, let's move on to the final one. Number 1.
Dragon Ball Z. Dragon, rock the dragon, come get Dragon Ball Z. Dragon, rock the Dragon Ball Z. Dragon, rock the dragon, come get Dragon, rock the Dragon Ball Z. Dragon, rock the dragon, come get me.
the openings to the Ocean and Westward dub. When I think of the openings to Dragon Ball Z, I think of Rock the Dragon and Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z. And yes, I know there's the Bruce Volker opening, but we're talking about the Ocean dub. In fact, when it comes to the Rock the Dragon opening, I think it's cemented as the Dragon Ball opening. And yes, don't get me wrong, I love the original Japanese opening, Chala, Head Chala, and We Got Power. That's a fantastic opening. But when it comes to Rock the Dragon, it is universally well known by loads of Dragon Ball fans. I mean, heck, there's even been a few parodies of this opening like Shaggy Ball Z, and even long-time Dragon Ball fans in the comments will say, ah, nostalgia. And after watching the opening, or while you was watching it, it was pumping you up for the episodes. And when it comes to Dragon Ball Z, okay, this version of the opening isn't as well known as Rock the Dragon, but I do appreciate it of what it is all by itself. I like that Dragon Ball Z, and it does have that Rock the Dragon Ball Z, Rock the Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball. So yeah, it kind of pays homage to the Rock the Dragon. And listen, don't get me wrong, I do love the American version of the Dragon Ball Z opening. I love the da 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 da. And to be fair, I do have some problems with the openings. I mean, don't get me wrong, the music and the characters fighting and how they're blasting beams, I mean, all those things are well and good. But in my opinion, I think the opening to Dragon Ball Z, Rock the Dragon, gives away way too much. Like Goku going Super Saiyan 1, or when we see Vegeta go Super Saiyan 1, or Trunks going Super Saiyan 1. That's always been one of my problems when it comes to the Rock the Dragon theme. It was just giving away too much. But when it comes to Dragon Ball Z, they were using scenes from the series of things that we already knew about, and they didn't use scenes from the Cell Saga or the Buu Saga. It was just early Dragon Ball and the movies and the Frieza Saga. I think, in my opinion, they should have kept the original Chala Head Chala ending with Tien, Chaozu, Yamcha, Master Roshi, Krillin, and of course Goku. And then when the Frieza Saga was over, then they could have used the ending to Rock the Dragon, because we've seen Goku go Super Saiyan, we've seen Vegeta go Super Saiyan, we've seen Trunks go Super Saiyan, but it should only be shown after Vegeta goes Super Saiyan 1 the first time. I mean, I made a video about this ages ago, talking about the Rock the Dragon opening, so if you guys want to go and check out that video, please do. Anyways, even though Rock the Dragon does have its flaws, it's still a fantastic opening. And when it comes to Dragon Ball Z, there's a few differences, but it doesn't really spoil of what's going to happen in the show. Although, to be fair, I really should do a top 10 openings video of the top 10 Dragon Ball openings. So yeah, there you go. These are all the examples of the Ocean Westward dub. Now listen, again, I haven't seen the Ocean Westward dub in absolute ages, like freaking years, and I've only ever seen clips and I've heard music from the show thanks to YouTube, and I've used those clips and music just to give you guys an example of what's on the Ocean and Westward dub. In fact, I'm pretty sure there are clips and music from the show that should have been on this list, but again, I haven't gone through the entire series of the Ocean and Westward dub. But to those of you who have seen the Ocean dub and Westward dub, let me know in the comments below and tell me which clips and music should have been on this list. And also tell me what voice actor is your favourite, tell me what part of the series is your favourite, what fight is your favourite. In your opinion, what is your favourite part from the Ocean and Westward dub, and which part is better than the Funimation dub? So yeah, that's all I gotta say here. So what do you guys think? Am I right, am I wrong? Do you like the Ocean dub? Do you like the Funimation dub? Please let me know in the comments below, and let's get a discussion going. I'm Freaky. Peace out. And please don't forget to check out my other social medias. Please go and check out my alternative video platforms, Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute, Twitch, and please come and hang out on my Discord server. We can play games, have a movie night or a series night, or you can watch me play a few games. And if you guys have any suggestions of any videos you want me to react to, or any video ideas in general, you can tell me on my Discord. I'm also on Twitter, Gab, Getter, and Paula. I'm on Locals, Tumblr, Minds, and if you guys want to support me, please go and check out my Subscribe Star. It's like Patreon, but better. All these things are in the description box below, so please go and check them out and subscribe to them. I'm Geek Freak. Peace out.